Ethical issues surrounding death. Death raises profound ethical questions about the value of life, personal autonomy, and societal responsibilities. Three key topics: euthanasia and assisted dying, the death penalty, and the rights of the terminally ill highlight the complexities involved in navigating moral, legal, and cultural dimensions of death. Euthanasia and assisted dying. Definitions and key concepts. Euthanasia, intentionally ending a person's life to relieve suffering, typically administered by a healthcare professional. It can be voluntary, at the patient's request; involuntary, without the patient's consent, often considered unethical and akin to murder; non-voluntary, when the patient cannot provide consent, for example, in a coma; assisted dying, providing an individual with the means to end their life, usually at their request. The person administers the final act themselves, often using prescribed medications. Ethical arguments for and against. In favor. Autonomy advocates argue that individuals have the right to make decisions about their own bodies, including the choice to end their suffering. Compassion. Euthanasia and assisted dying can alleviate unbearable pain and suffering, respecting the patient's dignity, quality of life. When life is no longer bearable due to terminal illness or chronic pain, ending it can be seen as a humane option. Against. Sanctity of life. Opponents often cite religious or moral beliefs that life is sacred and should not be intentionally ended. Slippery slope. Critics worry about potential abuses, such as euthanasia being applied to individuals unable to consent, or societal pressure on vulnerable populations. Medical ethics. Many medical professionals view euthanasia as conflicting with their duty to preserve life. Legal and cultural perspectives. In countries like Belgium, Netherlands, and Canada, euthanasia and/or assisted dying are legal under strict regulations. These nations emphasize patient consent, terminal diagnosis, and medical oversight. In contrast, many countries, including most of the United States with exceptions like Oregon and Washington, restrict or prohibit assisted dying due to cultural, religious, or legal concerns. Death penalty and the morality of taking life. Definition and application. The death penalty, or capital punishment, is the state-sanctioned execution of an individual convicted of a serious crime, often murder or treason. It is one of the most debated ethical issues related to death, with arguments rooted in justice, deterrence, and human rights. Ethical arguments for and against. In favor. Retributive justice. Supporters argue that the death penalty is a fair punishment for heinous crimes, providing closure to victims' families. Deterrence. Proponents claim it discourages others from committing serious offenses. Public safety. Execution prevents convicted criminals from committing future crimes. Against. Moral objections. Many believe taking a life, even of a criminal, is inherently wrong and diminishes societal values. Risk of wrongful execution. Cases of innocent individuals being executed highlight flaws in the justice system. Ineffectiveness as deterrent. Studies in some jurisdictions show no conclusive evidence that the death penalty reduces crime rates. Discrimination. Critics argue that biases in legal systems often lead to disproportionate application of the death penalty, particularly against marginalized groups. Global trends. Abolitionist countries. More than 70% of nations, including most of Europe, have abolished the death penalty in law or practice, citing human rights concerns. Retentionist countries. Countries like the United States, China, Saudi Arabia, and Iran continue to use the death penalty, often justifying it as a tool for justice or deterrence. Rights of the terminally ill. Defining the rights. Terminally ill individuals face unique ethical and legal challenges regarding their care, autonomy, and dignity. Their rights encompass access to palliative care, ensuring pain relief and comfort during the final stages of life. Informed decision-making. Patients should have the right to participate in decisions about their treatment, including refusing life-prolonging interventions. Advanced directives. Legal documents like living wills allow individuals to outline their preferences for end-of-life care, ensuring their wishes are respected when they can no longer communicate. Ethical considerations. Respect for autonomy. Patients should have the right to make decisions about their own care, including the choice to forego treatments that only prolong suffering. Balancing quality and quantity of life. Medical professionals must weigh the benefits of prolonging life against the potential suffering caused by invasive treatments. Equity in care. Ensuring all patients, regardless of socioeconomic status, have access to high-quality end-of-life care. Challenges and controversies. Cultural and religious differences. Attitudes toward end-of-life rights vary widely, with some cultures emphasizing family decision-making over individual autonomy. Resource allocation. Ethical dilemmas arise when scarce healthcare resources must be distributed, raising questions about prioritizing care for terminally ill patients. Legal barriers. In some jurisdictions, laws restrict patients' rights to refuse treatment or access assisted dying options, complicating their ability to die with dignity. Global perspectives. In countries with robust palliative care systems, like the UK and Australia, terminally ill patients benefit from extensive support to ensure comfort and dignity. In less resourced regions, many patients die in pain due to limited access to medications and support systems. Conclusion. The ethical issues surrounding death, including euthanasia, the death penalty, and the rights of the terminally ill, highlight profound questions about life, dignity, and justice. These debates require balancing individual autonomy with societal values, legal frameworks, and cultural contexts. As societies continue to evolve, so too will the ethical considerations surrounding these critical aspects of mortality.